Meanwhile, there's another dynamic at play for Joe Flacco that has been a consistent theme this year all the way back to training camp. Joe Flacco. Hey, Joe, as you get ready to start your first game since November of 2020 and your first as a member of the Jets, are you vaccinated? Here he is from yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not vaccinated.
And just your reasoning for that?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I feel like I definitely have my reasons. I honestly probably like to talk about this topic more than anybody. It's one of those things that you debate with all the time, but I've overall felt like it's more of a distraction than anything. So I feel like to kind of talk about it too much and give you all my beliefs is more of a distraction than anything. I think the most important thing is going and play the football game.
The mask is the giveaway now that people are sensitive to the reality that there were some COVID protocol violations happening in plain sight that the rest of us don't know about because we don't know who is and isn't vaccinated. They don't publish that information. Oh, what's that? Oh, is that Joe Flacco? Is that October 29? No mask? See, and I get plenty of Packers fans saying, why don't you point out all the other quarterbacks who... Well, we do. Plenty of quarterbacks were at press conference indoors without a mask, and we didn't know their status. And the NFL deliberately, I don't know if it's deliberate or gross incompetence, just not paying attention, not enforcing, not doing anything. And, Chris, you know what? If Aaron Rodgers hadn't tested positive 15 days ago,
yeah, who knows?
I don't think Joe Flacco would have been wearing a mask.
Probably not.
During yesterday's press conference. I think a lot of unvaccinated players would still keep doing the things that they were doing. I think, but for the Aaron Rodgers positive test, we wouldn't realize that a lot of this COVID protocol stuff is just window dressing.
Yeah.
That they have failed grossly to enforce, which should piss a lot of people off. It really should. That it's just words on paper, that they weren't putting the appropriate time and effort into ensuring that the teams are properly enforcing, even when anyone can see these public press conferences and guys not wearing masks indoors talking to reporters when they know, we don't know, they know they're not vaccinated. It really is astounding.
Right, it is. To me, that's where I never liked the fact that the NFL was putting the pressure or on the team going, oh, what's the team's ability to do it? Like the team's not going to do that. I'm sorry. No, it's got to be you, NFL government of all 32 teams that does that. Again, we've talked about this. I think there's a lot of, again, the coaches and players I don't think really give a damn. They don't. They're not going to enforce it. That's just not how, the NFL works. It's a man's league, and it's just not how it works. It's not, and it's just not the mindset of that the coaches or anything. The coaches, for the most part, are vaccinated. We know that, because there's job-related issues there. Certainly, a lot of the players, of course, got vaccinated just because of the pure. Hey, it's easier to be vaccinated to go through the year, and my competitive desire, I don't want to miss a game or have to deal with anything like that. So that's where there's that aspect. But again, you're going to have your handful of guys on every team who are not vaccinated. They don't really care. And I think within that locker room, the ones that are vaccinated, they don't really care that the unvaccinated isn't vaccinated. They don't care. They don't. So that's where I look at it and go, like, if the NFL, it's on the NFL to follow up on these procedures. I just don't think you can expect, a guy like Robert Saleh or Matt LaFleur who, are coaching football teams and worrying about blitzes and defenses and offenses and special teams and a bunch of personalities to now be like on the mask police. They're not. That's just not going to happen. I think that's
especially not in Green Bay.
No,
especially not in Green Bay where they're tiptoeing around Aaron Rodgers anyway.
Exactly,
and they know
it's
he's
a double
got a strong
whammy there.
Opinion about this.
Right.
The last thing they're going to do is say you better wear your mask, and we're going to fine you if
100%.
you don't. That, as we said last week, that $300,000 by the Packers was money well spent. Oh, and they've already made it back and then some with their non-stock stock.
Did you buy your ownership yet? Did you do it? Did you pony up yet?
I'm going to be talking to someone from the team today about whether or not I truly have to worry about being fined by the NFL for continuing to criticize the NFL. This isn't on the rundown, but I'm going to go ahead and wedge this in there. Apologies to Courtney for calling an audible. But since we're talking about the COVID protocol situation, there was a memo sent yesterday by the league to the teams informing them that they are beefing things up next week because of Thanksgiving. Because what's going to happen?
Right.
People are going to come to town. Guys are going to have family members at their houses. Maybe some people who aren't vaccinated. Maybe some people who are infected. So the testing protocol is going to change some. Masks for everyone in the building. Encouraging drive-through testing of family members.
I love
to
that.
Get ahead of potential outbreaks. They understand, because you know what happened? It was around Halloween.
Yeah.
When we saw the uptick.
Right.
Guys out and about doing things, enjoying Halloween, going to parties.
Right.
We get a bunch of positives after everything had kind of calmed down. Now I think we see the signs and we see kind of the hot spots flaring up again. They are being more vigilant than they have been as the Thanksgiving holiday approaches, because they're still getting very lucky. They're still if you're going to have these protocols and not enforce them, then there is an element of luck that is keeping the house from caving in on you. They are wisely beefing things up in anticipation of what may happen Thanksgiving week and beyond, Chris.
Yeah, it's smart. I mean, again, you know you're going to be crammed in some kitchens and some dining rooms with family members from all over the place. Yes. I mean, we know that you're going to have family members from all across the country where, some spots are a little more lax than others, right? And did I read it right? Like, were they encouraging the players to bring their families to the facility to get tested, or were they just right? They were, right? Like,
drive-through testing at the facility.
To me, that's a great thing. I mean, again, I think if I was a starting quarterback for a football team and it was Thanksgiving weekend, I'd be like, hey, mom, hey, dad, hey, grandma, hey, grandpa, hey, uncle, hey, aunt, before you come here, stop by here and get tested, and let's just see where we're at here. I think that's smart. I'll give some credit to the NFL for that one for sure.
And by the way, on the way out the door for this segment, from time to time, the NFL has conference calls with members of the media who are invited to participate and ask questions, and they had a COVID protocol conference call yesterday. Well, guess whose invitation got lost in the mail?
Mike Florio's?
Oversight. There was an oversight.
Shocker.
And I was not included.
Shocker.
An oversight. The guy who has been pestering them and they've ignored me on who else has been fined for protocol violations this year, just so we can see whether or not it was fair treatment of the Green Bay Packers. It was an oversight that I wasn't invited, even though earlier in the day the person who had the oversight was communicating with me, because it was also an oversight that I didn't get the new memo that came out yesterday. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt this time.
I doubt it.
Oversight. Didn't get a chance to ask any questions, and they don't
didn't
want
want
to answer.
you there.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.